Okay, I think we are running out from the time. So thank you once again for joining this panel. My name is Madina. I'm a PhD student from Bar-Ilan University, and today I'm a coordinator of this session. So today we have two professors from two different universities, and we already got the brief introduction of Professor Elad Gross from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem and Professor Michael Leskis from the Weizmann Institute of Science. And if somebody has more questions, so the room is yours, and we can hear more about your personal journey to the academia. Do you have any questions?
Yes.
Please go ahead.
So, okay, Michal, I want to ask you another question. You said that you did your postdoc in Cambridge. In which department?
Chemistry.
Chemistry. So I'm going to visit there 1 week and a half from now.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
You have some tips?
For the visit or in general, you mean? For the visit or?
You liked it there?
Yeah, like living there.
Which group?
Sorry, which group? Claire Gray. So it's in the basement. I don't know, which group are you going to visit?
Thomas Knowles.
Okay, so Uliana Shimanovitz did her postdoc there if you want to ask her more specific things.
Okay.
Yes, I think living there was great. So I don't know, are you on your own with family or?
I'm with my family, but I'm going to visit there alone. Yeah, I have a child, so.
Yes, I think in terms of like Cambridge is relatively convenient for that. They have like a housing, so you can register in advance for a house. If you choose Cambridge in the end, then they have like a housing for postdocs that you can register for in advance. And yeah, so if there are more practical things that I can give you, then let me know. But I think in the visit, the main thing to see is how is your chemistry with the PI and with the group, and whether I mean, you already know probably that the topic motivates you. So that's, I would say, like, you know, every person has different things that are important to them. But I think definitely as a postdoc, you'll be independent. You have to motivate yourself. You have to think of ideas on how to move forward, mostly independently. Of course, there are some groups that it's different, but in Cambridge, usually the groups are like that. They're pretty big. And usually you have a lot of independence there. So yeah, so make sure that you choose a topic that you're interested in a way that, you know, you'll have motivation to get out of bed and go to the lab without anyone. And then in the only other aspect is, you know, whether the PI is you have good chemistry. There are other aspects that, you know, that are important with PI relationships, but it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to know in advance. But you can talk, like, ask the students, ask the postdocs that are there, all the questions that you have without being shy. I think the other challenge, like the one challenge in the UK, I think, is that they have completely opposite character compared to the Israeli character. So I think in my first year there, I felt always like an elephant in a China shop, you know, like very rude, very, but I think in the end, you get used to it. You learn the code and you understand what they mean when they say something. And I think maybe that's a bit different to the US, that I guess the US also has, I mean, Elad can say, but I think the US, there's also like a code of what you can say and what you cannot say. So I think the first year requires this adjustment of from the direct Israeli character to.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I would maybe just add a comment that, as I see, there's no such thing as too much information, especially when you go to an unfamiliar place in which that can have a tremendous impact on your future career. And usually, I mean, if you have some Israeli connection, people who were in the same group previously, or people in groups that are nearby, those are people that can give you more information than what you'll get from a regular postdoc, because, you know, no postdoc will start to say bad things about the PI, or start complaining with you, which you are the total stranger to them. So people, Israeli or former Israeli that have been there as a postdoc, as PhD student, can be can provide valuable information that you cannot get otherwise, especially if there's something that you want to really find out. And also regarding housing and all kind of education for kids and all that.
You traveled with your kids? You had kids on there?
Yeah, so we did. I did my postdoc with 3 kids, so it was.
You started it with the 3 kids?
Yeah, so they were. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So it was challenging, both financially
-1.
and also, yeah. So it's it becomes a real. I would say, yeah, it's much more challenging. You have to find a bigger apartment, education for everybody, and you need.
I guess the biggest problem is the healthcare for all of them. The insurance.
Yeah, so this is also part of the things that I don't know how it goes. I think in the UK they have.
UK is they have they have free health services. So yeah.
But in the US, this is definitely something that you need to discuss with the PI to understand what is the salary, what is covered and what is not. Healthcare is it included or not included? I mean, those are things that need to be discussed. So it's sometimes not that convenient to talk about money and all that, but yeah, it's need to be done. There's no way out of it.
I think specifically, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think like specifically in Cambridge, they have an office at the chemistry department that is in charge of all of these aspects. So usually the PIs are not really involved in the administrative details. Like you can ask, I'm not sure they will know or will give you very accurate information. So the best would be to go to the, like to ask where to go, and then you can ask all the details about your salary, your housing, the visa, everything. So they are the people that will take care of it. And this is very different in every place you will go to. So that's why what Elad said about finding someone that was actually there, that's the best. If you can find someone that went through the same process. So in your case, if you're going to Thomas, that's the group you're considering, definitely talk to Liana from Weizmann, and she will give you details.
Thank you. So if no one else, I have another question. Like if you talked about scholarship that you applied to before, you need to come with the money or like?
So that's also very specific to every group. Definitely that's something you should check, like whether they can take you, whether they have funding or whether they will only take you if you get your own funding. And sometimes it's like not very clear yes or no. So like in my case, for example, the group I joined, I was asked to apply for funding, but then, you know, you apply and you only hear back after 6 months in the best case. And you cannot move your family, especially if you have kids with such an uncertainty. So in the end, I had to be very direct and just ask, will you take me even if I don't get a fellowship? And it wasn't easy to get a straight answer in that case, but definitely you have to ask explicitly whether they have funding, and of course, definitely apply for fellowships, because if you have your own funding, you're much more independent. It's great for your CV. So definitely try all the opportunities. And in the UK, there are many, many opportunities for funding. So, and in Cambridge, you can also apply for fellowships from colleges. So there's many, many options.
Okay.
Yeah, I will also comment that most of the funding, I mean, I think the exception is the Marie Curie, but otherwise than that, we're talking about the Fulbright, the Rothschild. I think they're only for 1 year. I'm not mistaken, but so anyway, you need, and usually the postdoc period is, I would say in chemistry, 3 to 4, 5 years. So in any case, you need someone to cover you after 1 or 2 years. So this is indeed something that needs to be straightened up and discussed.
I have a question. I want to ask about creative ideas I mean, how to build creative project from zero. Because now as PhD students, all the projects that I get, it's from my PI, and my creative points is inside the project. And I am afraid that I will reach point that I will not have the opportunity to think about, you know, creative ideas from basics. So how to improve that, or how I know that I am suitable with that.
I could, like, my suggestion is to, whenever you have an idea, write it down. Like I have a collection of ideas and like from, you know, once you have them, even if you have them now, then write them down. Later, you know, later it's useful to, but it's something that I don't know, I don't have guidelines on how to get creative ideas, and except for like keeping your mind completely open, you know, like go to seminars that are not directly related to what you do. I think that was really good in my PhD, that we had these seminars that were kind of compulsory. And I didn't realize the huge effect that they would have, because in the end, you get ideas from, you know, a similar problem in a completely different field, and then you can apply to what you do. So open your mind and not just go to the obvious talks and obvious papers, and collect your thoughts, like all the time, like keep listing these things. And I think the other thing, like I said, for me in my PhD, I also didn't feel like I had maybe one of my papers was my own idea, and my supervisor was really against it. But I think the only time I really had a chance to see how to do it is as a postdoc. So you just get thrown and discuss with people, and then you get ideas. And you know, if you get stuck, you go and talk to people. Like even just explaining why you're stuck helps you. So don't stay in your own research and in your own problems on your own. Always keep discussing, and then it really helps evolve further.
Yeah, I would say in this aspect, I mean, that one of the great resources is the Gordon conferences. So, I mean, I think they are coming back the next summer or even winter. But Gordon conference is a different conference because it's smaller. You have opportunity to talk with people. The poster session, and all the people are there for 1 week, and it's not a huge conference like others. So it's a great opportunity. If you have a specific topic that you're interested in, just register to the Gordon conference, go there, meet the people. Another thing is that if you apply for scholarship, part of the thing that you have to do in the application is to try to develop your idea. And this is also an opportunity to talk with the PI that you want to go to his or her lab and discuss a new idea, and then start developing an idea based on some insight that you have or the PI have. But yeah, so I think you're looking for opening your mind. So this Gordon conference and conferences generally are a very good place to start.
I have a question. Did you ever think about the transition from academia to industry? I mean, was it challenging for you at first to stay in academia?
I never considered it. I don't know about Elad. I mean, you know, it's a challenge. I guess it's hard work, but I think any path is hard work. So I think, I mean, one critical step is going for a postdoc. And then after that, you have the critical step of submitting applications. But what I noticed about, I think it's general, that, like, you know, the more you advance in this path, then the challenges you can take on are larger, and some things that you were completely frightened of doing in the beginning, you are very easy, and then you have new challenges. It's just that you know, as a PhD, it seems like being a PI is something that is very challenging and intimidating, but you have to do the path in order to get there, and then it's not that intimidating. So for me, I never considered going to industry just because I really like what the academia has to offer, at least until now. Yeah, so the challenge, I think, was, like I said, in the critical points of moving to a postdoc and then from a postdoc to the position.
Yeah, I would also say that I think in the industry, this is a teamwork. You're working with a team, you're working together, but as a PI, I think it's mostly you're by yourself. I mean, you got some assistance here and there, but this is you're all by your own. I mean, and you have to do it all. I don't know.
No, I mean, there is an aspect of loneliness for sure, because you're the only expert in what you do.
Yeah.
You can discuss with the group, but still, like, in the end.
Yeah, you're the manager. You have to make the decision. You have to bring the money to hire the people, to recruit the people, to train the people, to take care of them, and deal with all kind of problems. So in a way, to be a PI is like you have a startup company in which the whole managing team is you, which is sometimes great, but sometimes I mean, this is the pros and cons that you have in this work. It's not like Intel, in which you have a huge pyramid and you're in between, and there's a lot of people in the same level as you and above you and below you. It's different. But this, on the other hand, what gives you the freedom to do whatever you want. We choose our schedule. I mean, except for teaching, which is yeah, some of us has to do. I mean, our schedule is open, and we decide what to do, when to do. So this is part of the freedom, but the freedom comes with a cost of I don't know, it's the loneliness or the fact that you have to tackle the things by yourself most of the time.
Okay. Thank you. Some more questions, if somebody has.
Yeah, I want to ask something. I don't have a PhD. I come from the field of mechanical engineering. I worked at the Technion. I have master studies. I worked in the industry before, but I see that I'm really connected to the labs. And I worked for a couple of years as a lab engineer manager. I want to ask you, in the labs you have, what's the position? I mean, is it common to have a lab manager or lab engineer, or all of the students, all of the people you work with you are משתלמים, are working for the degrees? So is it common to have people who work, I mean, not for a degree, but as a worker, as an institution worker?
So this will be different in every place. I can say what's at Weizmann. I have no idea what's going on in other places, but there are different statuses that are not like fellowship, not students or postdocs. You can also have people working and being paid by the hour, or having a contract per year that is renewed, or you can also get like a permanent position as a technical staff, so an engineer kind of position. Yeah, so there are these options at Weizmann. They are usually advertised, so I think they are advertised in like the same place you would advertise, you know, the different portals for jobs looking. So yeah.
Usually it's permanent, or it's for projects temporary?
It depends. So sometimes it's paid by grant monies, and then it's not permanent. It's renewed on a yearly basis.
Yeah.
And other positions can be permanent. It depends on what's your background. You know, like I can say, for example, at Weizmann that we were looking for someone who's an RF engineer, radio frequency engineer. and that it's like a track, you have to first start on a non-permanent basis, and then if it works well, it becomes a permanent. It's rare, it's not like a very common position, but it does exist.
Yeah, I worked for 7 or 8 years at the Technion, but the problem is it's a good place. I enjoy it, and I like the labs I work in. Today I work in a lab in material engineering, but the problem is that the jobs are really permanent. I mean, not permanent. The jobs are temporary jobs. So every time the budget finishes, I have to search for a new job. So it's quite, it's not very easy. But yeah, I still have to figure what will be my next step. Maybe I will find some PhD position, go to do some PhD, I don't know. But it's quite, I have to think about it. But anyway, thank you for your advice.
I think maybe in like universities that they have undergraduates, there are more options like that, but a lot maybe, I don't know, like, people that are in charge of labs for the undergraduates.
There are technical position, but those are usually advertised by the university when they look for a technical person. But in the lab, most of it, as you said, this is soft money, and there are usually no permanent position that we have as PIs that we can offer. So if there's any permanent position, it is covered by the university, and then you can look for the advertisement in the university website, or maybe contact directly the head of the Institute of Chemistry or Department of Chemistry in each university, and see if they have something to offer.
So I have to check for the, okay. Well, I will do, meanwhile, I'm at the Technion, but I'm trying to search for, to look for some other options as well. So, yeah, okay. Thank you.
Does somebody have more questions? Okay, so if not, I guess we can conclude the session. Thank you once again. Thank you, Professor Elad Gross. Thank you, Professor Michael Leskes, for your time, for your valuable advices. So,
thank you and good luck.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.